He should have responded when they had his name on them files, on that list. He should have responded. Always remember, no reaction is a reaction. But in Jay-Z's case, a reaction is basically he's trying to clear himself up and trying to keep his name out of that type of dirty section of the media.
Well, I mean, you got to look at the big facts too. It'd be detrimental to not just him, but Beyonce, because she's right there with him 24/7. Why wouldn't she be? She's his wife.
She know everything that's going on. She know what Diddy was doing up in there. That's why Rihanna fell back. Keep in mind, Rihanna, she a billionaire. She doing her thing. But keep in mind, Jay-Z locked her in the room for hours. All because she wouldn't sign the contract right away. So they made her sign that contract. And they didn't let her out or leave or nothing. And she was in a high-rise building. Come on now.
You know, personally, I wouldn't want to live like this. If I got all these rules and stipulations and I got to worry about looking over my shoulder every 5 minutes, I'm good. Like, I'd rather just have a normal, peaceful life than to have to go through the stress and the headaches that these environments seem to bring. I could not sit there and respect myself and live like that. How do they do it?
At the end of the day, we know for a fact Diddy brought it upon himself, and Jay-Z was right along with him. They said Jay-Z was involved in it too. And now that the new information came out, it goes to show exactly what was going on. Ain't no telling if Jay-Z ain't had nothing to do with what happened to Tupac if him and Diddy been friends for that long.
But that's why Jay-Z is taking that step back and going, we're not friends. We're just business acquaintances. And you know, it's convenient enough that being a popular and inflational star, you're in the same room at the same parties, at the same dinners, having the same conversations with everybody else at the same time. So we can easily be a decoy of our friendship because, well, we were just doing business. Nobody can confirm nor deny whether we were friends outside of that. And that is what Jay-Z's big argument is at this point in time between him and P. Diddy. But the fact of the matter is people are implementing your name, into these lawsuits, civil and otherwise, and they're calling you out.
But what would the judge and the lawyers do in this situation?
Well, right now the lawyers are working hard to get everything dismissed faster than it can hit a courtroom. But why are they working so hard to get his dismissed, but nobody else's?
Right, Diddy's been locked up for a long time.
They were not able to get P. Diddy's cases dismissed. Some of the charges, yes, but the overall case, no. There was enough evidence in his homes that implemented him. But why haven't they gone further into the research of Jay-Z? What is stopping that?
Ain't no telling if Jay-Z got a good legal team or if Jay-Z wasn't actually involved in a lot of stuff that they said Diddy was involved in, and his name kind of clear on certain levels. But with certain things, it's always, what is that? A loophole. So now they able to get Jay-Z on something that they like actually can hold him on. And now Jay-Z, he run around like a, you feel me, like a chicken with his head cut off.
I know people that are not innocent that were able to get their cases cleared. So I know there's justice loopholes in a lot of things. And that's why it makes me question, is he innocent? Is he guilty? Was he a part of it? Is it false? Is it true? Like, you want to sit there and you want to weigh out the balances and do a balance check in a sense. There's a possibility it's true. There's a possibility it's false. We have not been presented with proper evidence that signifies either way.
Everything got to weigh out. The evidence got to weigh out. They have to be able to charge them and convict them within a reasonable doubt.
Absolutely. And it's not what we know. It is what you can prove in the court of law.
And a lot of people don't know that Jay-Z, he did what he did for a long time, but he got away unscathed. But once they came back up about Kim Porter, come on now, we already knew what this was about. Like, at the end of the day, you can't run and hide from what happened to Kim Porter. And this is all alleged. And I want everybody to know, this is sad that it had to happen to Kim Porter and Tupac. But keep in mind, those were the two people that put the icing on the cake. Don't forget about Kid Cudi Coggin blew up. Don't forget about Al B. Sure almost losing his life from a near-death experience, all because he spoke out against P. Diddy.
All I can say is at the end of the day, there have been too many lawsuits. Over 120 lawsuits were filed. We didn't even scrape the surface of that in court. You cannot tell me that these men are innocent 100%.
No, they're not. And a lot of people feel that it's more gonna come out in these cases.
Oh, absolutely. It's still coming out. We have new releases in the last couple 30 days. At least 5 that I've read up on. People are stepping up and stepping forward. The thing is, the cases are being dismissed, whether the judge doesn't want to deal with it anymore, whether he feels time is being served, whatever it is, and they still have yet to bring solid evidence against Jay-Z. So until they get some solid evidence, we're not going to see that propel forward.
Okay, so what are they gonna say about JLo actually sneaking that gun up in that club that night? You remember that night they had that party when P. Diddy was the one that supposedly hit that lady in her face? Like, come on now. They said that P. Diddy got stopped down the street from speeding too fast. He had the gun in the car, and Shine still got charged with the case. He put a whole case on Shine, and Shine had to, you feel me, come out and say how he really feel, say what really happened.
You know, I think unfortunately that one is dead in the water, or they would have already brought forth the real charges again. It's very unfortunate that the wrong man got convicted. Thankfully, he seems to have been able to move forward with his life. But I don't think we're going to see any other justice come to that case.
Okay, so by Cassie, Kid Cudi, and all them going to testify, like, it all was dropped in court. They kept Diddy with the charges that he had from with Cassie, but at the end of the day, like, it wasn't adding up. Do you think that they're going to put another indictment on Diddy? Because they could lock you up for one thing, and then the feds can jump right back in. And as soon as you finna get out, they can stop all that.
If they have the right evidence and they really do a solid investigation, they could. They absolutely can. It has to be on new charges, though. They cannot come after him for the same things that they've already convicted or tried to charge him with. That's dead in the water now. He's doing his time, and it is what it is. If they are able to pull together a solid case before he is released, and even after he's released, there's no, like, time limit on murder. There's none. They could come after you later on, 20, 30 years from now. If they are able to actually provide the evidence needed to get a court hearing, it's over with.
So now everything is going to turn for all of them, including Young Miami. Don't forget, she was the one who was keeping the phone records for every shipment and load that they dropped off in them private planes. And keep in mind, it's a federal case. Whenever you do any trafficking in the air, in the water, or on land.
Oh, absolutely. If they can get their hands on those records, that's a whole nother case. That will literally indict a lot more people. Young Miami, P. Diddy, Jay-Z, whoever was involved. The indictment will come down because they love to bust a good ring.
Yeah, but do you think that it's going to be people in Jay-Z corner when it's time for him to go to court and do everything that Diddy had to just go through?
You know, that's a good question, and I think only time will tell on that one. We thought a lot more people were going to stay in P. Diddy's court, and they all kind of just backed up. They said, I don't know you, and disappeared. And very few people stayed around to support him. Does Jay-Z have a bigger support party than P. Diddy did? It's a good question.
He probably do, but at the same time, other people may not want to be involved with the activities that he got going on in this criminal enterprise that they was running, just like they didn't want to get down with Diddy. You feel me? People didn't want to come see Diddy or even sit in the court to support him, even if they didn't have to take the stand and actually say how good of a person he was, how bad of a person he was. They still did not come and sit and just support him just by having their presence there.
Well, and this is why we always say, watch who you keep in your circle. Because people are always there when the times are good and they can benefit from you and there's prosperity. But as soon as times get hard, that's when you find out who your true friends are. And whether you're innocent or guilty, a true friend, well, they're going to hang around and they're going to be a support pillar for you. But somebody who's just there while you're prospering, they're going to disappear.
They're not going to be in your corner as long as you think they is. And then when you really need them, they're not going to be there.
Whether it's emotional support, physical support, financial support, they're going to disappear if they were never down for you to begin with. If they were only there to benefit off of what you do, it's going to show. That's the best time to weed out your circle, is when the times are hard.
That's why it was good that Snoop Dogg got out of that situation and he stayed from around both of them, Jay-Z and Diddy, because he knew exactly what was finna go on, because he saw the pieces of the puzzle coming together. Snoop Dogg knew he did something to Tupac. He knew that. But keep in mind, what happened with Kim Porter, it raised awareness everywhere through every state. And now this is why Jay-Z is going through what he's going through. You feel me? And it's like a lot of people was involved in it. And they even went in her house and took her camera footages, the VHS tapes, and the CDs that she had that was pre-recording everything that was going on. They took that so that they won't leave behind no evidence.
You know, when you commit a crime, you try to clean sweep the area. Make sure there's no DNA, no fingerprints, no video recordings. You really try to remove every ounce of evidence. But to me, again, the biggest red flag, who pre-orders a casket for somebody who's healthy?
Exactly.
I don't understand that. Who does a pre-order? Wasn't it like a gold casket? That's a very specific, expensive order.
Yeah, for somebody to come out there with, and then next thing you know, she have a tragic death. Man, R.I.P. Kim Porter, R.I.P. Tupac, man. This should have never happened to neither one of them. But I'm just so curious to see how everything gonna go after Jay-Z actually get indicted and they actually put him in there.
Absolutely. It's going to be one for the records. And it'll be a very interesting case to log in and see every day until it's done. But until we get there, we are again only speculating, and this is allegedly. I hope he's innocent. He seems to be a good guy.
Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you're a fan of Tupac. Let me know if you're a fan of Kim Porter. Get well, Cassie. I want y'all to drop that down in the comment section. What happened to Tupac was a tragedy, and I would like to let everybody know, if you're a fan of Tupac, if you're a fan of Kim Porter, if you're a fan of Kid Cudi, I want you to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you're a fan of those people, because at the end of the day, we knew for a fact that it was Tupac who made Diddy so mad, all because Tupac was being himself. Tupac wasn't doing nothing different. He was just chilling.
At the end of the day, jealousy. That's all it was. It was jealousy. Tupac was just as good as P. Diddy, maybe better. It depends on the opinion. But there was room for both. But P. Diddy felt threatened, and that's why he made the moves he did to take out Tupac. And there is enough evidence. There's enough people talking about it. Keefe D, even a tell-all book. Why haven't we put this to trial yet?
We saw what he did to Al B. Sure. We saw what he did to Cassie. Don't forget to mention what he did to Kid Cudi. He blew up that man's car.
Again, jealousy. There's no other motive. Like, if a woman wants to go, let her go. If a person wants to move on with their career, let them be. Live and let live. Why do we have to sit here and strategize how to take the next person out? How do we remove our roadblock, per se? With a billion-dollar industry where there's enough room for everybody. And you're not just in the music industry. You're into sales. You're into companies. You're into, what did he have? A alcohol brand named after him. Like, you've got your hands in many pots. Your revenue is not being affected by that person.
Right. And Jay-Z didn't know that Diddy was going to release those footages that he had on them cameras that was in the walls of every mansion that he had. Don't forget, Diddy used to invite people over to invade their privacy. And next thing you know, just like what happened when Denzel Washington and his wife was inside a Diddy party, they got up and left. You got to understand, invading people's privacy and then showing it on the big screen when they not there or when they come back the next time, that's bogus. You can't do that to people. And just like the judge said, Jay-Z, he's been implementing in this too, regardless of if it's been 6 months, 8 months to a year. It doesn't matter. There's no stipulations on when they can get you for these type of crimes.
When I think back on this, I think blackmail. The only reason you would do this to somebody is to have blackmail in your pocket in case you ever want to be like, I've got this over your head. You need to do this for me. Or, I'm going to release these files and you're going down. Blackmail is the only thing that makes sense. That or you're just highly perverted.
Everybody knew for a fact that Jay-Z, he kept on saying, like Kim Porter, she was trying to stop the stuff that him and Diddy had going on. Now, keep in mind, when anybody try to get in the way of any operation or anything that's going on, just like the Fed said, they going to try to take that person out.
They either take them out or try to buy them out. P. Diddy was definitely one to think that he could just buy his way through any problem, any situation, good or bad. He was the mastermind of, here's a few $1,000s, here's $1 million, take it, go, get out of my face.
But you owe him after you take that money.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, writing a debt without being written. He's going to come back for his payday, whether it's something he needs you to do or something he wants from you. At the end of the day, P. Diddy was a person who thought that he could manipulate the system and keep control, and he got ahead of himself.
Yeah, he did it for so long to the point where he made it common. He made it seem like this is his norm.
He got comfortable, and when you get comfortable in a situation, it tends to bite you in the ass. When you no longer have your safeguards up and you no longer are looking over your shoulder and you're just easy peasy moving through what you've done 1,000,000 times and you let your guard down, that's when it all falls apart.
But everything that was mentioned in the indictment and the retracted words and letters and notes, man, it said that Jay-Z was doing worse stuff than Diddy even got locked up for. Now, keep in mind, Diddy did what he did to Cassie and Kim Porter, Kid Cudi, Al B. Sure, Heavy D. The list goes on. Don't forget about Tupac, R.I.P. Tupac. And this is why Snoop Dogg, he was trying to stay far away from both of them because he knew something like this was going to come out sooner or later. Remember, everything ain't going to be hidden for too long. Stuff always seep out and come to the light.
Snoop Dogg was a smart one, in my opinion. He just did his own thing. Even to this day, he does his own thing. Like, you don't see him out there in the mainstream sitting there in cahoots with people. He just does his thing, and I have mad respect for that man. Jay-Z, I don't know what to say. Does he have a better lawyer team than P. Diddy did? Does he have something up his sleeve that, why isn't he getting caught up?
It wasn't a coincidence that none of this happened.
It's sad to say that they ordered her casket before she ever passed away. And that right there is just like a big red flag. Kim Porter loved P. Diddy. Like, he was the love of her life. And she really never pursued any other relationship. She focused on him and her kids. She just could not be with him in the lifestyle that he led. And his personality conflicts, the aggression moments and those things, she could not deal with that as a person. So she chose to step back and be a mother to her kids. But at the same time, she was still very involved and knew too much. And she was writing a book that he did not want released because it would condemn him.
Everybody knew for a fact that she kept trying to get P. Diddy to stop doing those parties. But Diddy, he kept doing it back to back. And this is why he was put in the position to where he actually was the guy who failed. Everything failed for Diddy. But we know for a fact, Jay-Z, by him giving out all that information, he told the feds what they needed to know.